Stop chasing men and start chasing your dreams. If you haven't already heard the news, it is now embarrassing to have a boyfriend. And do you know why it is embarrassing to have a boyfriend? It is because having a boyfriend significantly puts you behind in getting what it is that you want, because now instead of spending your time on going for what it is that you want, you're now spending your time being around a man who cannot do anything for you so that you can get to where you want to go. It is embarrassing to have a boyfriend if that man cannot help you excel in what you want. If that man cannot propel you towards the future where you have everything that you want. That is exactly why a woman today cannot be dating a man who's got less going on than her. That is also why a woman cannot be dating a man unless she also has other hobbies herself. Because if a woman's only hobby, which is not even a hobby, is dating men, then she will significantly put herself at risk. Because when a woman dates out of the desperational need for companionship, she gets blind, and she will put her desperation before her achievements and before her long-term plans. That is why, as a woman, unless you're dating a man that is making your life easier, that is making your life better, that is making your dreams come closer, making you have an easier time achieving what it is that you want, there's no freaking reason for you to be dating. If a man is costing you more money than he is adding to your life, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, he's a millionaire and he's adding all of this money. No, like, are you the one who always has to put money into making sure this relationship works? Are you the one who has to travel? Are you the one who has to this and this and that? Are you the one who has now less time to focus on a business, to focus on your YouTube channel that you've always wanted to do, to focus on getting an education, and he's taking the time and the energy that you should spend on that? Because time is money. If a man is not adding to your life, if a man is not giving you encouragement, helping you heal, if he's not listening to you, making sure that he calls you morning, noon, night, you are wasting your time. And that is why it is embarrassing to have a boyfriend if that boyfriend is doing worse than you. Because I promise you, there are men out there that will call you morning, noon, and night, even if they're at a job that is super high demand. Even if they're at a job where they're really busy. If you don't have a hobby, if you don't have a business, if you don't have a YouTube channel or a social media influencer or whatever it is you like to do, paint, dance, whatever. If you do not have hobbies and you do not have friends outside of just being you, then you should not be out there dating. Because dating is not a hobby. And it is important, imperative, very important for you as a woman to build something for yourself, because you have been granted the ability to. Do not let the thought that society has imprinted in us that we need to be doing everything for everybody make you feel like that's the first priority you have. The first priority you have as a woman is being selfish enough to take steps towards making your life better for yourself, whether that means making a business, creating hobbies, going out painting, doing whatever it is that makes you happy. You have to put your own health, your own wealth, your own growth, creativity first before anything. And you will not be able to find a partner that will facilitate that in you ever if you have not explored it. And the reason why it's also so freaking important to have a hobby that is not a man, because a man is not a hobby, is because you will have an easier time being able to audit whether the people that are around you are actually people that are supportive of you or not. Because you will not be someone who is available all the time, and people that don't like that you're not available all the time and that you sometimes are a little busy, they will make it very clear to you, and they will actually try to make you do less. And then when you have hobbies, you'll have an easier time stepping back into your own healthy little bubble of you rather than trying to always be something for others because you didn't have anything else to do. You are much more likely to sink into the embarrassing hole, which is having a boyfriend for no other reason than you have nothing else to do, if you do not have anything else to do. It is healthy for you to have things to do. It is healthy for you to be the type of person who does things alone, who goes on walks, who travels, who sees things, who does things, who dances, who twerks, whatever it is you like to do. Because if you want to attract a healthy partner, a partner that will not only be your boyfriend, but also be your partner who will make sure you're happy, healthy, you also have to exhibit that you put yourself first. We are at a time period in this historic era of being a woman where women have the opportunity to create lives for ourselves, which means we have the opportunity to buy property, we have the opportunity to get an education, we have an opportunity to make money for ourselves and never have to depend on a man to open a bank account or to withdraw money and all that stuff. Yet, we still conduct ourselves as if our lives could not keep going unless we have some man by our side. And that does not mean we cannot have a man by our side and that a man cannot make our life easier. That's not what we're saying. I promote healthy relationships on this channel. But we act as if we do not have the opportunities we have, and is as if we do not conduct ourselves in a way that men find endearing and amazing and good and beautiful, then we'll lose it all and we'll never have anybody that will be there for us. And because of this, we will naturally put ourselves in environments and situations where we will be around bad people / bad men, because we do not see ourselves as unlimited beings. We see ourselves as scarce. We have this idea as women because we grew up hearing, especially from our moms, like, oh, you'll never be happy unless you have a partner, all of this stuff. That little voice is still ringing in a lot of women's head, and a lot of women are also thinking, if I don't have a partner, then I'm not a successful woman. Because as a woman, you have to be both a good mother, a good partner, a good wife, a good everything at the same time. This confusion sets us up for chasing validation rather than chasing our own self-validation, self-exploration, because we think we need to depend still on other people's opinion of us. That is exactly why, as a woman, if you are a people pleaser, you cannot be dating. I know it sounds a little crazy, but you should not be dating if you are a people pleaser. Or at least you should not be dating if you're a people pleaser for enough time so that you can clock your people pleasing tendencies and correct them in your head. Remember this, you can't correct your first thought, but you can correct the second. A lot of women have a tendency to seek relationships for no other reason than the fact that they think that if they do not get that validation, then they actually have no purpose. And that's because as women, and a lot of women that are brought up as people pleasers, we believe that, well, if we're not giving out energy anymore, then we're not worthy. We're not used to sitting with our own energy, which makes us super uncomfortable when we do that. So the first thing we do is that we seek someone to give our energy to. And that is why a lot of women, especially adolescent women, end up being in relationships with people that are not good for them, because they think that that energy has to be given out in order for them to ever get any reciprocation, or in order for them to be good human beings or good women. And that is why, as a people pleaser, it is very important that you remove yourself from the dating market and that you sit with the fact that it's actually kind of embarrassing to be giving your energy out to people, so that you do not feel that you're wasting your energy and like, oh no, what's gonna happen if I don't give my energy? Like, I'm gonna have to sit with it myself. Yeah, because you're gonna have to face your demons and your shadows when you're not projecting them onto others. And this is also why when you're a woman and you've just moved to the big city, or you're just learning to get footing in this world after having moved out from your parents, that is the canon event of being involved with people that are not good for you, because suddenly the energy that you've always had to give to your family, especially if you're a people pleaser girly and you've grown up in a family where it's like you always give your energy, now you're suddenly in a situation where you don't have to give your energy anymore, but the natural thing that you have been taught is you need to find people to give your energy to. So what's going to happen? You're going to put yourself in bad situations naturally because you don't know what else to do. And that is why it is so important to catch that and sit with those emotions, sit with that energy instead of actually always giving the energy out. And that is also why it is slightly embarrassing to have a boyfriend if you are not someone who hasn't worked on yourself first. You cannot attract a healthy relationship with a man if you do not have a healthy relationship with yourself. And a healthy relationship is not an anxious attachment relationship. And a lot of women have succumbed to bad relationships that are embarrassing because they're not obsessed enough with themselves. They're not selfish enough. They cannot be alone. They're always thinking about what everybody else is doing, so they don't even want to pick up a hobby. That anxiousness will never be fixed by a partner. Yes, a secure partner will give you the rest and the space so you can actually discover how anxiously attached you are, or so you can actually sit with your own emotions. But a healthy partner will most likely be extremely turned off and actually not want to be around you if you are anxiously attached. This does not go for if you have like minor anxious attachment issue, but if you're the type of person who cannot talk about anything but all of the bad relationships you've had, it is normal for a healthy person to not want to listen to someone who's only talking about all the things that don't go right in their life. And if we want to get spiritual with it for a second, if you are the type of person who always talks about all of the relationships that have been bad and narcissistic people you've attracted and why it always happens to you, that's exactly why you always attract more, because whatever it is you put your attention to, more energy is going to flow towards. That's literally the law of attraction. That's how it's used. So that's why healthy people stay far away. Because the only reality you're speaking into existence for yourself is the reality where bad people are. And that's a self-fulfilling prophecy that's going to continue again and again until you shift your focus. AKA you shift your focus from all of the people that are treating you horribly and how society should make things better before you can change into changing. You have to be the one who says, okay, I'm done. I'm picking up a hobby. I'm changing my mindset. I'm stopping the victim mentality and I'm going to focus on building me. I'm going to focus on building something. That's when things are going to change. That's when things are going to come into your life. That's when a healthy partner has time to come into your life. That's when there's not so much resistance between you and a healthy partner. Because if you're constantly speaking negativity, narcissistic, all of that into existence, if you're constantly speaking the negativity and narcissistic and all of that stuff into existence, that's what you're going to attract more of. And you're not going to stop attracting it until you stop focusing on it. And that's why it is so freaking important to be a woman who has something going on for herself that isn't just being around a man or hanging around people. Not only is it embarrassing to have a boyfriend, but it is also embarrassing to not have purpose. You cannot just be hanging around people to hang around people. You do that when you're 13 and your classmates and you have no other thing to do but to walk around the mall because you're trying to look cool with the cool kids and you're trying to like look hard even though you're like 13. When you're 13, that's when you hang because you think that's what the older kids do. But when you're a 23-year-old, 22-year-old, 20-year-old, 25-year-old plus woman, especially if you're 25 and up, this is embarrassing for you if you do. If you just hang with people to hang, you're too old for that. Your friendships, your relationships with people need to have purpose. That doesn't mean you can't go out to have coffee with your girlfriend or you can't go out and just exist with good people. That's not what hang means. Hanging is just like, oh, let's just be around people because we have nothing else to do. You need to have purpose in your life to see that you're wasting your time around other people. And not wasting your time can also be being out for drinks with your girls. That's not wasting your time. That's actually like having the purpose of being out and having fun and conversating. But hanging is more like, I have nothing to do, so for the fourth time this week, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna sit and drink a beer with the other friend in my friend group who also has nothing else to do. Unless you guys are filming TikToks and making bank or trying to build your social medias by hanging out, this is not something that's gonna turn into more for you, and it's embarrassing. If you're over the age of 25 and you're going to hang out with people just to catch a vibe, you do that when you're 17 and you're like trying to see what it is to be adult. You're not there anymore. You're 27 plus. I'm gonna use myself as a great example here. I am someone, when I go out alone sometimes because I like my own company, which is also something you have to be able to do. But when I go out, I don't go out just to sit. When I go out, sometimes I'll go out to karaoke by myself because I love singing. So I get a lot of singing in. I get to go out and express myself. I get to put my voice into it. I get to actually train my voice. So even if I am at a place that might not be the coolest place and like the fanciest bar or whatever, I actually still have a purpose of going. I'm not just going to catch a vibe. I'm going because I am the vibe and I want to make myself have a good time. But you're way too old to be trying to catch a vibe by just being out and about, like going to the club to catch a vibe. No. If you're going there with your girlfriend so you can twerk on each other and like catch a vibe together, yes, that's good. Like you don't have to act like you're some businesswoman, like, oh, every minute needs to be accounted for. No, but you need to have purpose with the time you spend, because trying to just catch a vibe will just make you catch flies. When you're out in the wild, you will attract wild things. Men. It is better for you to be sitting at home making bad YouTube videos, because every YouTube video is a lottery ticket in the winning of your YouTube career, rather than you just sitting just like, oh yeah, I'm people watching. Yes, you're people watching. If you go for a walk and people watch. That's good. Do that. If anything, film yourself people watching. Then you're doing content. Don't just be hanging to hang. Go on walks so you get your exercise. Go on walks to get good snacks. Go on walks to see nature and be happy and get the dopamine you need for that. Don't go out to just vibe and catch a vibe and, oh yeah, let's hang. You're too old for that. Vibe with people that have something you can vibe about. Like yesterday, I went out with one of my really cool friends and we talked all about like art, astrology charts. Mind you, we do not have any expertise on that. And we talked about her being really into comedy. I'm going to her comedy show. We both come with a fat bag of awesomeness and then we mix it together and then we like leave with a little bit of each other's awesomeness so we can become even more awesome. That's way different from like, oh yeah, bro, we're gonna catch a vibe. What's up? Like, just like, you wanna come hang? You know what else about having a boyfriend is super embarrassing? Thinking it's so serious that your whole world breaks if that one thing is not okay. Like the reason why a lot of women don't get the things they want in life is because they have this idea in their head that everything has to be lined up. Every little thing has to be perfect. And then they can make a move, and then they can get themselves the things they want, and then they can step into the life they want. This is why most of the women in the world don't get what they want. It's because we have this belief that like, okay, well, I'll be able to be my best self when I have a boyfriend. I'll be able to be my best self when I have the perfect job. I'll be able to be my best self when I have the perfect haircut. When my hair is much, much longer and I don't have to wear fake hair anymore, that's when I can do what I want. And that really ties back to the whole it's embarrassing that you need a boyfriend, because it is literally a waiting room. Again, a self-fulfilling prophecy where you're never going to be fulfilled, because every single time you're seeking for something to fulfill you in order for you to be able to step into more fulfillment, you're telling yourself, I don't have enough, I am not enough, so I'm going to be seeking to take in order to feel enough, instead of healing that crack in the cup so that I can actually hold everything. Because a lot of the times we seek to get the cup constantly filled instead of realizing there's a big crack. That's why everything is always falling out. You shouldn't have to wait till you have the perfect relationship to feel good about yourself. You shouldn't have to wait till you are a certain amount of beautiful to be making your first TikTok, YouTube, whatever. You shouldn't have to wait to step into the version of you that gets everything that you want. You have to start telling yourself, I can get everything that I want will fall into place no matter what I choose. My life is always gonna give me what I want. You have to find that wholeness within yourself, or else you will end up be embarrassed by having a partner, because you will always put the relationship above your wholeness, and ultimately that will make you less and less whole, and that will make this relationship not work because you're not working on yourself. That relationship will always bring out worse things in you, and a lot of times women will say, well, it's not me, it's them. We do not attract people unless they are a mirror to us. Listen to that again. The men you have around you are a mirror of how well you treat yourself. If you allow men that are terrible into your life, it is also a mirror that there's something you haven't healed within yourself. And that is why, as a woman, we cannot be thinking that we can outsmart men. We cannot be thinking that we can always sprinkle our way to oh, this man is gonna I'm gonna make him give me all his money, and I'm gonna be better than he is, and I'm gonna be the smart woman here, and I'm gonna get everything. We cannot be thinking that the men we're gonna attract are just gonna be oh, they're bad and we're not bad at all. We cannot be thinking that oh, well, I'm a perfect person and I have no shadows and I have nothing I need to work on, and they're the problem, not me. And I know this one is going to be hard to hear, but the people we attract into our life and the people that we are in relationships with are a mirror of ourselves, and a lot of the times our relationship with ourselves and with others. And unless we can face that, we cannot build healthy relationships. Because if we cannot face that the things that arise in our relationships with people are because there are certain boundaries we do not want to set, or we are refusing to set because we crave validation and intimacy more than we crave health and our own emotional stability. We want the intimacy of not being in a healthy relationship more than we want the loneliness and being in a healthy relationship with ourselves. We have to face that before we can ever step into the territory of not being embarrassed by having a partner, or it not being embarrassing to have a partner. And I'm not saying you need to be perfect in order for you to ever let a person into your life and be your significant other. Give me a break. None of us are perfect. Perfectionism doesn't exist. We cannot be thinking that we are above people. We cannot be thinking that we are above men even. Controversial opinion, even though I kind of do think that women are above men. We give birth to life. But on a more philosophical, knowledgeable level, we cannot be thinking that we are above anybody, because that means we believe that we have nothing we need to work on, and then we overlook our blind spot. This does not mean we need to be perfectionists and be I need to correct this and correct this and correct this and correct this. The healing starts when we embrace ourselves for what we've gone through, who we've been around, why we did that, because if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have been brought here. But we need to look ourselves in the mirror to be able to see that the people around us are a mirror. It's basically the law of attraction going on again. Whatever it is we focus on, that's what we get more of. And that's why, as a woman, the most important thing we can focus on is ourselves. Because when we focus on ourselves, then we actually do bring out the worst in ourselves, and we get to face it, we get to transform it into being the best of ourselves. And that's when we can meet people, a partner, friends, that actually bring out the best in us, and we bring out the best in them. We can't do that unless we actually get humble about the fact that we are also at fault for the people we attract into our life. You can never get a healthy relationship with someone unless you're ready to audit your own relationship with yourself. We also have to talk about the fact that a lot of women have relationships with men so that they have something they can gossip about with their girlfriend. That is embarrassing. I'm sorry, but that is embarrassing. If the only thing you have to talk about with your girlfriends is men and your dates, and especially all of the things that they do wrong, then your world is not a healthy world. You're dating people to create a plot. You want your life to be like Sex and the City, but you have no money for Manolos. You don't have the job. You just have the plot line of the men. That's the only thing. And I also do think it's slightly embarrassing to be someone who only wants to bring down their partner. If you do not have anything positive to say about your partner, you're not supposed to be in a relationship with. If you cannot be in a conversation with your girlfriend without bringing up something negative your partner did, because they want to always bring up something negative that their partner did, or because that's just what you want to do and that's just how you do things, that's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Your life is not supposed to be lived through the humorous little storylines of you wasting your energy on someone who is making you spill all of this trauma tea. Again, it's the self-fulfilling prophecy of whatever it is you focus on is what you're going to get more of. And when you go home to your partner now, the only thing you're going to be picking up on is going to be all the bad things, so that next time you're with your girlfriends, you're not going to be the uncool one who only has positive things to say. You're going to be the one who's adding to the tea, the little pot of stew of negativity. A healthy relationship is a relationship where you do not talk smack about the person. There is little things where it's like you audit it with your closest friend or your closest relative. But if your friends are the type of people that always want to say something negative about men or about their own partner, and you feel like you need to also share something negative, or your mom or your friends or your whoever is always people that do that, these people are not good. These people are embarrassed by their own choices, and now they're trying to make sure that you make the same choice. And they're kind of like making you feel ashamed for not doing the same, because it's kind of like the people that have children and now they're telling everybody, oh my God, the best thing in the life is to have children. They do that because they don't like the fact that you don't have anything to add to the fight, because you're actually happy where you're at. And that's why it's also embarrassing if that's the only thing you can talk about with other people. If you can't share good things and you feel like you always have to add negativity about people you're dating or a relationship you're in or something like that, you are not in a healthy relationship with your friends or with that person. Because if you only have negative things to say, what are you even doing in a relationship with that person? Not only are you wasting your time with that person, but you're also wasting your time with those friends, because they're not your friends. They're just people who are addicted to misery. And you're also probably addicted to misery. And that's embarrassing. We only have so many years to live. Like, you only have like 82 summers, 82 baddie summers to live. And what you're doing is talking smack about people to make yourself feel slightly better, because now you're hearing other people smack. So now you don't feel so bad about always being involved in smack. Life's too short for that. So girly, it is embarrassing for you to be in a relationship with anyone else but yourself. Too many women are not in relationships with themselves. They're in relationship with other people's terrible relationships with themselves. Like, we're trying to always be helping others instead of putting ourselves and our dreams first, to a point when we do not even realize that we have dreams. We don't let ourselves dream. We don't let ourselves chase what it is that we want to chase, because we're so desperate to chase people's existence in our life, so that one day we wake up and you're like 80 and it's like, oh, I never did what I wanted to do, because you wanted to make sure that you got some validation or a stamp of approval before you took the step you needed to take. That is why it's embarrassing for you to be chasing men. It should be embarrassing for you. You need to be chasing your hobbies instead. You need to be chasing your dreams. You need to be delulu about what it is that you want. Men are these secondary things that will come into your life, and your great first love should be yourself. And when your great first love is yourself, you will also attract a man who will adore you and who you can adore back, because you are working together to make sure that you both get the love, the happiness, and the growth that you need. That's what's going to happen when you love yourself. But you'll never get to love yourself how you need to be loved if you cannot remove your energy for a certain period of time and put that energy back into yourself. You cannot do that. That does not mean that you have to be remaining on your own and alone all your life. No, it just means that for a certain period of time, you need to remove yourself from people, from energies, so you can sit with that energy and realize how powerful you are. So you can realize how much energy and time you were actually spending on people that are not doing anything for you. And you cannot attract someone who is going to adore you if you do not adore yourself. That's just how it goes. That is why it is slightly embarrassing for you to be in a relationship with someone unless you're in a relationship with yourself first and foremost. Your most committed relationship should always be yourself. And then when the right partner comes into your life, your relationship with yourself will become better as a result of them being in your life. And that's when you know they're a great partner for you, because your life is supposed to get significantly better. Your self-love, your exploring yourself, your becoming, your relaxing that's supposed to become better when you have the right partner. So your self-love is gonna get better when you have the right relationship. Anyways, that's why you should chase hobbies, your dreams, your goals, and not men.